That is correct.
And we were talking about bridges. Can you believe it?
Talking about bridges.
Yeah, well.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the ProfitDig Construction Show.
Woo!
Yeah. Woo! All right, I'm Jeff Gibbons. I'm here with Jeff Spencer.
What's up?
What's your name again?
Chris.
Okay, yeah, Chris. Chris Work. Yeah.
That's right.
Jerry
That's
Work
what they
behind
call
the
me.
camera, producer Jerry. And special guest with us, Corey Work.
Hey, everybody.
So Corey is our guest tonight. He's a bridge inspector.
That is correct.
And we were talking about bridges. Can you believe it?
Talking about bridges.
Yeah, well, I was like, why is anybody talking about bridges?
Yeah.
But it's kind of a hot topic right now. So, and we had questions. So Corey was gracious enough to come in here and answer some of these questions.
Yeah.
I can't really talk about the Baltimore Bridge or what happened to it. All I know is a ship hit a column, is what they're saying.
Yeah.
And so that's really all I can comment on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I've heard engineers say like there is no bridge in the world that could sustain that type of impact. So, you know.
Yeah. It's like, well, you could probably build one to sustain that impact, but would you want to pay for it? It probably wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to do that.
You know, yeah, I don't know. That's I guess that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I feel like a bridge is already pretty expensive to build.
yeah,
I would think in
they're pretty
construction that would be one of the
Pretty
bigger expenses. I've seen too, like in interesting bridge builds online, where they'll build these kind of block barriers and pump the water out and create a vacuum chamber. So it'll just be like a river and just swimming around this area that they've carved out and walled off, and that's where they're going to build their support structure. I don't know if they do that every time when they build a big bridge, or if that was just a specific circumstance, but I would think if you're going to build a large bridge, you would need to have dry earth to dig down into and then fill in.
I thought
don't
it was
know.
like what am I trying to say? I thought that was how it was. What am I trying to say, Jeff? You know what I mean? It's almost like not like a mold, but like a mold. The thing goes down into the earth, then the water is sucked out of it, then the concrete and everything.
Well, there's different types of
okay.
ways to section off. You know, they got these bladders you put up, you fill with water. Really depends on the depth of the water you're in.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, some people use sheet piling. You know, if it's very deep, they use sheet piling, drive it down. Like they'll actually have like a driver on a barge. And they go around, they drive a sheet piling in. They line it with like plastic or something, to keep the water out and then pump it dry. And it looks dry, but it's never completely 100% dry. There's always pumps in there pumping all the time.
Yeah.
You still gonna have infiltration, water. I mean, Corey probably knows more than I do. I just stuff I've been around.
No, that's no, that's
Well, you haven't had to deal with that side of things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you always deal after it's built.
right.
That's right.
I'm sure it has a lot to do with the type of region you're in too, because like around here, generally, most areas on this side of the Tennessee River, you can get down into rock, and I think that's what most of our bridges do here. They go down, try to get through the overburden, and they'll actually, adhere, drill down and put their rebar structure and stuff, all their steel structure into the rock, and then form up and pour their concrete and work their way out.
Yeah.
But a lot of places you don't have availability to go into rock, so you just got to dig down into the earth and try to overburden your concrete footers and stuff enough to support the load.
Yeah.
So I guess on
So you
a
just damn hope for the best?
Well, no, I mean,
Is
it's
that what you're telling me?
it's engineered. It's engineered.
No, I'm just kidding.
I guess on a bigger bridge, like, what you were telling us earlier, like on maybe a smaller bridge, I'm sure you're putting your waders on, getting down there, checking out the subspace. But on a bigger bridge, I guess like certain bridge inspectors, they have to be like certified scuba divers as well.
Well, we do have a boat that we'll take out, but there is also underwater inspectors.
Oh, so that's a different classification.
It is, but there is underwater inspectors, and that's all they do is put on the scuba gear and go down and inspect everything underwater, and really if it's If it's greater than 3.5 foot deep, I have to recommend a underwater inspection.
That's pretty shallow. I
Wow,
would
it's
think
more than
like,
3.5.
I would think
It's anything too deep to bend over, ain't it?
3.5.
Yep.
3.5 foot.
3.5 foot. And like I said, I can inspect on my boat. I can go out and inspect everything above water and the bottom deck and that sort of stuff, but I can't inspect anything underwater, so.
I can just imagine the 4 foot depth. Scuba guys just got a snorkel instead, you know?
That's right. Yeah. Poking around. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So how do I get there to put some of that cool graffiti? Like if you
Now,
know,
how do
let's
people
say,
do that?
Man, I know we got a couple bridges, that I don't know how I
don't know how they got there.
man,
Like Mission Impossible,
Yeah,
dropping ropes from the.
like Death Wish, you know.
Yeah. I think graffiti's kind of cool, but I'm not gonna put my life on the line for it.
Yeah, that's dedication.
No.
Interesting.
And I know you probably didn't work on it, but Memphis, the bridge across the Mississippi River, they actually had a lot of it shut down a couple of years ago. Because they had some serious deterioration, I guess.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was they found a crack.
Yeah.
Found a big crack
It was like a major crack. It was enough to shut the bridge down, or a large portion of the bridge.
And that was a major crack.
Yes.
Like cracks in steel at any time is not good. That's bad. You don't want
Sure.
cracks in steel.
Yeah, the integrity's shot at that point. I
Yeah,
guess.
and yeah, how this, I mean, you know, I don't, how this person would have missed it, because there was reports of like other people, non-workers, seeing it.
Really?
Yeah,
Like,
that, like I think
that's
even,
scary as hell.
yeah, even people like, I think just riding down the river had seen it
Noticed it.
before and noticed
Holy
it.
cow. That's crazy.
And this guy, he was, you know, flying a drone, and I mean, accidents happen, you know. I wasn't there, but yeah, a major crack like that in steel, I don't see how.
So that's what it was. It was in the steel.
It was in the steel, yeah, yeah.
That's scary.
That's too. I think when I think of steel, I think of creases, not
I think it was in
cracks.
the bottom.
What could cause a crack in steel?
Yeah, distress,
Just, okay, all the
lot
way.
of
overly
stress.
overstress,
Wow.
yeah.
Which I mean, there's a lot of trucks that go over that bridge every day.
That's
you know,
true.
I mean, there's trucks over all bridges, all highways, all the time. But I mean, that is a major pipeline. I mean, Memphis is the distribution capital of the world. So you can imagine,
Is it?
yeah, you can imagine
I
the
didn't
trucks
know that.
coming out of there.
Yeah. Well, you know, thinking about that, you know, in the stress that could have cracked that beam, we was talking earlier, you know, about the movement on bridges, you know, how they have to flex, you know, in order to sustain. I wonder, like on one of the bends or something, you know, like if something could have seized up where that didn't have the movement, you know, I wonder if something like that could cause a crack.
Sure, well, because you know there are bearings at on
Right.
top of piers and bents, and so yeah, them bearings can like say seize up and not move properly. So sure, I could see that happening.
They have to like re-grease those every so often.
Probably sealed bearings, I would say.
Yeah, I'm
It's a
not.
full replacement at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on that subject, but
You are tonight.
but I do.
That's right. Spit it out, Core. Tell us more about that.
If a bearing has rotated or that sort of thing, then I will note the rotation and monitor it just to see, you know, over time how it does and if it fluctuates.
And off the camera a while ago, I'd ask you a question about like new construction. On a new bridge just been built, do y'all inspect immediately or do you wait for 24 months and do your first inspection? And if so, how many times have you found faults in a new construction?
Yeah, we'll do an initial inspection and then 24 months later will be another inspection. Yeah, and you know, mostly just in concrete, cracks. We find cracks on our first or initial inspection quite often. Just in a bad pour,
You
or just the guys, laying it.
Have you seen a trend in like the contractors that are building these? No. I'm kidding.
yeah. Can we get a list? That's where we're
I'm
going
just
with
kidding.
this. No.
Well, have you ever had to shut a bridge down? Or your team, or
I have had to shut a bridge down
one time?
one time.
Well, that's one too many, I guess.
And it was due to cracks as well.
It was due to a horizontal crack in a pier wall on I think it was a bridge and not a culvert. Can't remember exactly. It was a long time ago. It was but I do remember a horizontal crack in a pier wall, and the pier wall wasn't plumb anymore, so much that the deck had a big deflection in it.
Oh.
And it was actually funny, but not funny.
Now I want to hear it.
When we were there to shut it down, or whenever we were there looking at it, we were like, holy crap, we got to shut this down.
Yeah.
A loaded dump truck comes across it,
Oh my God.
and we're like, dude, this is not safe to cross. He said, I ain't worried about it. I cross this bridge every day.
He said, I like to live life on the edge. So.
Yeah. We're like, well, not no more, buddy.
Yeah.
You gotta go around.
Yeah. You have to shut her down for a little while. Get a new one built in here.
How long does it typically take if you see one get shut down? Like, does it just depend, or like, is that something they put a high priority on?
It depends.
If there's no alternate
It depends on who owns it.
Okay.
But plus, what about if it's a major thoroughfare?
That'd be instant then, right? I mean, would that not be like, shut it down?
I mean, you have to find some kind of detour route, especially if you have to shut the whole bridge down.
Right. True.
I mean,
Right.
that would, if you was like on.
I guess it depends on how big of a major thoroughfare. Like I've seen on a highway here locally that it takes forever to get permits and to be able to even get started.
Wow. Regardless of the severity, or is there an instance? I mean, maybe you have been fortunate enough to not have to deal with that.
Yeah,
but,
I
mean,
have.
If it's what happened in like Memphis and maybe Memphis and West Memphis, I don't know what it impacted both, but
Yeah, I know permits can take a long time
yeah.
to get them in line.
But they could probably be escalated if it's posing
Maybe.
risk of injury or death. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
You would hope so.
you would hope so.
You would hope so.
I would hope so. All right. Well, fellas, we're going to wrap this one up. We'll be back shortly with another one for you. Jeff?
Chris?
Corey?
Guys,
Producer
appreciate it.
Jerry? I appreciate everybody being here. Listen, y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you need a bidding and costing solution for your construction business, check us out, ProfitDig.com. Check us out again. We'll be back on the ProfitDig Construction Show
See you guys
next time.
See ya.